Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
Welcome into Woodward Wings. I am Justin Satawa. I am joined by my boy, Spencer Raxter, usually to my left, but today he's to my right. And then we got Garrett Freel locked in as well. Packed episode today, surprisingly, for a Saturday. And so make sure you keep smashing that like button, and the Saturday content will keep coming your way. So Max Boltman and Corey Broman of The Athletic came out with 4 trade packages for Dylan Larkin, so we're going to dive into that. Will Sebastian Cossa end up being packaged with Dylan Larkin? Another thing that could, complicate the trade market for Dylan Larkin. The new suitors for DeBrincat. Are there people who are emerging that are interested in the winger who can put up 40? And then also, Mason McTavish. Do you like him? Do you not? Is Boston slithering their way into the mix? And then also, are the Sharks closing in? So lots to talk about, fellas. But we're going to dive right into it. And I think we got to start with this New York Times article that I read from, of absolute beauty, Max Boltman and Corey Pronman. And the first trade that he has in here is one that has been highly speculated. It is Minnesota Wild, and it is Jasper Wallstedt, Danila Yurov, and then Charlie Stamel, the Michigan State forward. And in return, Minnesota gets Larkin and Sebastian Cossa.
Wallstedt being a part of it doesn't make sense to me, first of all. Second of all, if you're moving Cossa, why would you be you're moving Cossa because you've got a log jam in your goaltender prospects. I don't know why you would be moving him to add Wallstedt. Is he better than Cossa right now? Yeah, probably. Marginally, we don't really know, but no, I don't think you can. If you're moving Dylan Larkin for a crop that is centered around a goaltender, that's an L. No.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think there's no way you can move him for a goalie. And, Yurov is a good player, but he's a 3C. He's a guy who he doesn't even put up a point per game in the KHL. And you expect him to be a point per game in the NHL? Hell no. Personally, I hate this trade. I'm sorry to, poo-poo on this trade because of your Michigan State Spartan, Charlie Stamel, but he's a guy who's played 4 years in college. Yeah. I'm not trying to trade for a guy who's played 4 years in college, and that's why I'm out on this deal. I agree, the logjam in the goal crease as well. Garrett, how do you feel about this trade?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I didn't really have to say much. So there's no point for Wallstedt being in there. He's a little bit more proven, obviously, than Cossa, but why are you going to trade for a goalie when you have 2, or if you want to include Cossa, 3 up and coming? It doesn't make sense. And Yurov is good for a third line. Well, he was decent for Minnesota on a third line, but yeah, it's just not really worth it. In 4 years of college, there's a reason why he didn't sign his junior year or sophomore year, so there's no, it doesn't make sense for us at all.
And Icewater Olson, shout out our guy Matt Olson in there, says the package has to include a top center of a future line. And I agree 100%. I think if you're moving on from Dylan Larkin, you need to replace him, or at least have someone that you could see replacing him as your top center as part of the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why I just took over the whole screen right there.
I did that. I'm little TD on the fly action. You know how it be. This one's interesting, and this is a team that hasn't entered the mix, which is, I don't know why Boltman and Proman are pulling this way, but Carolina Hurricanes, Alexander Nikishkin for a first-round pick in 2026 for Dylan Larkin. And Nikishin's a guy, he was a rookie this year. He didn't have the best season, but he did show more flash than a lot of the other rookies, including ASP, which, quick sidebar, whoever voted ASP for the all-rookie team should get their vote taken away. That is ridiculous. You can't have a guy who gets sent back to the AHL be in the same, naming rights of guys
you need to dive into that. Now, anytime Neil or Sean talk shit, he was in the Calder contention. He was there. He got a vote. You can talk your shit.
I know, I can. And you know what? Good for ASP, man. Hopefully it's the confidence that he needs to, bounce back this next year, because God knows we're going to need him. However, This deal, as it is intriguing, I don't think it has enough juice. Like if they were talking maybe throwing in one of their center prospects, or even because they have wingers who can play center who are playing on their third lines. I don't like this trade. I think there's a more intriguing one with a D 1-for-1 in 2 trades from now and on this list. So I'm gonna say no on this one, and I think that this is going a little too young, unless you're getting like multiple prospects back. Like I think we talked about in the past episodes, like for Utah's case, guys like them, when you could get like a Tija Ginla and someone else, like that's when I'll go prospect, is when I can get 2 bites at the apple, versus this one where you're getting a pick 30 and a rookie defenseman.
Yeah, and like, listen, I would love Nikishin on this team. Like he's 6'3", 11 goals last year, over 130 hits last year. Big dude, good, can hop up and get some offense as well. But again, man, I don't want to sound like poo-poo about it, but I'm not worried about the defense right now. I think our defense is set up pretty good going forward, especially if Anjo can develop into a guy to maybe be on the top 4, but definitely a last pair guy. But you have to get elite forward talent in this trade, a guy that is projecting to be an elite forward. And that's why, we're talking about Tija Ginla. That's why we're talking about these guys, because right now, it's our last hope that Carter Bear and Max Plant are the elite forward guys, because I think we realize that all of the forward prospects we have are going to be second and third line guys at best. So unless Carter Bear and Max Plant both hit and you get an elite forward, then we're talking. But as much as I like that guy on the blue line, no, you got to get elite forward talent if you're moving Larkin. You have to.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing. I was going to say that exact thing. Like, I love Nikishin. Like, I've watching him play so solid defensively for a rookie. He's got tremendous future, without a doubt. But you can't give away your star center if you're not going to get any good forwards in return. Like, again, we talk about you can't have Andrew Kopp as your 1C. Like, and I saw someone put in the chat here, it was kind of like the trade I put for Lundell and Sam Muskevich. I do like that one, but I don't know if Florida would actually do that. Like, if you actually truly think about it, there's just no way Florida would give up that 3C for Larkin. I don't know. Yeah. I just don't see him doing that.
I don't see them doing that either, because Lundell is a guy that, is, and the other Luostarinen as well. Both of those guys, that's the center depth they have right now. Like, they could have the best 4 centers in the NHL if they don't trade any of them. And that's more appealing to a championship level contender than giving away any of their young-ish, because they're not even that young, to be honest, centers who you would need to get in return for Larkin.
Yeah, I think you're much more likely to get, if you're looking for a guy that has experience or played center off of Utah, than you are Florida, because Florida is much more in the we need to win a Stanley Cup next year. Utah is like, all right, let's take the next step to be Stanley Cup contenders. Florida is all in to actually win the Cup next year when everybody's healthy. So, I think their package would consist revolving around the 9 pick. I don't think Steve Yzerman thinks that's enough. I don't think he should think that's enough. So I know you want to go play with Maddie down in Florida and have a good time, but that one's probably not going to work out, Larks.
No, I don't think so. And staying in Florida, surprisingly, they have a Tampa Bay in the conversation, who I don't think that they have what it takes to get there personally, but Blumman and Pronman put out there Sam Riley and Connor Geekie, 2 not A-level prospects, I'd say, but some B-level prospects, very similar to the guys that we already have here in Detroit for Dylan Larkin.
Sorry, I was trying to fix my mic. Somebody said it sounds like my mic's getting picked up by my computer rather than the mic itself. But what was the Tampa trade?
It's Sam O'Reilly and Connor Geekie. 2 guys who are projected to be middle 6 guys, and that's my issue with this trade. This is not the elite, and that's the thing. And this trade list is pretty specific to teams that are ready to win. So that's why, which we're going to get into later, why Yzerman needs to be willing, and I believe he will be, to sit on Larkin if he has to in order to get that right deal in return. Spenny's mic is not working. Garrett, what do you think will Spenny fixes his mic issues?
No, I don't really like it. Sam O'Reilly's really good. I watched him throughout the Memorial Cup, I will say. He's impressive. It's not very every day where you win regular season MVP, playoff MVP, and Memorial Cup MVP. I think I forget the last person who did it, but there's only 2 other people, and they both are in the Stanley Cup and doing well. So good for him. But you just can't get middle 6 guys when you're trading away your first center. You got to get some I don't know. We need more than just those 2 guys. If they want to throw in a pick or something, maybe, but we need. It's not like we're just totally rebuilding here. We're still in contention to make the playoffs even without Larkin, depending what we get. So I don't think we can settle for that.
Does that sound better?
Sounds a lot better, Spenny. So You're definitely locked in now. How you feel about this Tampa trade?
Yeah, again, no. This is why we've heard from everybody. This is why we heard from Yzerman himself. You're going to have to give us a little wiggle room here, Dylan. It's not going to be one of these elite contending teams unless you want to sit here for a year and a half. You're going to have to open up the list because these Tampa trades, these Florida trades, the Carolina stuff, none of that is worth it. None of that is getting the return for what you can get out of a Dylan Larkin because, we know Dylan Larkin's not a 1C. He's not the number 1 guy. He's not going to be your 100-point scorer, but he is a perfect X factor to make a good team a contender or a contending team a Stanley Cup champion team. Having a guy like that on your 2nd C or your 3rd C is just an absolute, especially in the playoffs. You look at the depth. That's why Carolina's doing what they're doing right now because they're so deep 4 lines down. So if you have a guy like Dylan Larkin, it truly makes you a Stanley Cup contender if you're good. So you have to maximize that return. That's why this Florida and these Tampa trades, it's not going to happen. They don't have the upper echelon talent that they can give you that'll fit your timeline.
Absolutely agree, Spenny. And the thing that happens in these long playoff series, it is essentially a second half of a season. And during that length of time, you're going to have to switch your lines. And the fact that Dylan Larkin can essentially be plugged in depending on who his wingers are, 1 through 3C, is a weapon to have for Stanley Cup contenders. His defensive game has lapsed a little bit in the last 2 years, according to the analytics, but he still is, and when he is not asked to be so offensive, a very good 2-way center. And that's where these trades need to start heating up. They need to start getting better. This one is better. And this is the only time I think I would be, of this level, I'd be willing to veer away from elite offensive prospects. And that is with this trade with the Dallas Stars. It's not for Jason Robertson. It's for Thomas Harley. For Dylan Larkin, straight up. Thomas Harley just signed a $10.5 million extension that kicks in this season. He was on Team Canada, and when he is on, he is on. He struggled this year, which is why he's maybe the solution to their cap situation, but someone has to be sent off the island in Dallas. They can't keep their current cap situation, and this right here, I know that it would make the center depth scary, especially
very scary.
Very scary. However, when you're thinking of a top 3 of Edvinsson, Sider, and Harley, that's pretty tough, dude.
That's pretty nasty.
We're talking best defensive deep pairings in the NHL level stuff. And then at that point, you're just putting all the chips in the table to find centers. And that's where you're at. Because if you get Thomas Harley, then your decor is locked. You will not need to, you will just be adding supplemental pieces at that point. There will be no major investment needed into that decor. You will be spending every bit of resources that you have on a center.
And shout out to Brian Cornea in the chat with the good comms on the mic. Appreciate you, brother. But, oh man, I know it sounds good. I know it sounds like that would be pretty nasty, and of paying 3 defensemen that much money is a lot for a long time, but
not when the cap goes up by $10 million every year.
See, but what the difference for that is now Steve Yzerman needs to win 2 more trades. Now he needs to move more pieces and more assets to actually get a center. And what I know you've got the pieces for that when you look at a Gibson and a Falk and possibly a DeBrincat and pieces that you can Kosa and pieces that you can move to try to get a center prospect. But I don't know, man. I don't know. 1-for-1's aggressive, especially when you're not getting any time. Well, because then when you're looking at Andrew Kopp 1C, Marco Casper 2C, Emmett Finney 3C. Like, dude, I don't know if I can stomach that, even if it's for just 1 year.
For a year, yeah. And then you Spenny, you're gonna be
and then what? And then what? For a year and then what?
There's gonna be something that isn't appealing. You're gonna have to, take your dues this year.
MPDLR with the super chat says no Harley. When he's on, he's on. What about our locker room will get him to be on? Only a plug and play star for us, period. I think Mo Sider being the captain, Mo Sider, that's something that Red Wings fans are going to be able to feel, that we are going to see, that is going to be noticeably different. Like Mo Sider wearing the C, I know I said it in a certain way that pissed some people off on the original reel. I did not mean to call any hockey players pussies. Obviously, these guys whoop my ass, especially fucking on skates, but they played like pussies for a lot of the season. Like having Mo Sider in there will take that bitch out of the locker room. It'll take our captain just got cross-checked. Let's skate around and grab some people. No, people are going to be putting bodies on the ice, and that's what you need, and that could help. But again, not sold on Harley. I like it. It's probably the best one I've heard so far outside of the Mammoth trades, but not sold on it, no.
Completely agree. I don't know if we can do straight up. I mean, I would like Thomas Harley. Like, it does sound good, but I just don't think that's something Stevie's going to want to do either. I just can't see him doing that either. I don't know.
I think that's fair.
By the way,
but that one is definitely the most appealing of the ones outside of the ones that we have gone over from Utah, Anaheim, and San Jose, which more on that later.
And quick shout out, I'm double fisting the coffee and the Gatorade this morning. Not feeling too hot. Shout out to Orchid Theater and shout out to the Starlings. They put on a great show last night. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you had a lot of fun, Spenny.
Yeah.
I didn't even need coffee this morning for some reason. I might have just forgot. I might have just ADD'd the coffee. But we're getting by. The last trade I have on here from the Athletic is the Utah Mammoth, who we have talked about in nauseum. A little bit of their own flair on this trade, though. Detroit gets Tisha Ginla, Barrett Hatton, and a 2027 first-round pick for Dylan Larkin. That would
do it.
Done.
Replenish the center. I think this is a very even trade. Hatton is an RFA. He is 23 years old. He's played NHL minutes, so you are getting an NHL level center. He's probably the same, like a very similar situation to a Larkin, where he's a cusp of a 2C right now, where he could play 1C for you if you need him to, if instead of Andrew Kopp. Tisha Ginla obviously is a guy, him and Carter Bear. That's really intriguing to me. 2 guys who will be coming in, who've been lighting up juniors the last 2 years. That gets me excited. Some young scoring that we're going to need in the future. We need guys who can put pucks in the net. And then, the first round pick, whatever. I really couldn't care less. That should be something that is flipped into something that serves you now. Because you're seeing what these GMs are able to do. Everyone was like, oh, a first and a third is too much for Keandre Miller. And then we trade the same thing and a prospect. We trade essentially the same thing for Justin Falk. People forget that. I don't know, we got killed, Spenny.
What was it again? What was the full trade again?
For Keandre Miller?
No, for Larkin to this one we're talking about. Keandre Miller.
Barrett Hatton and a first round pick. 2027. So it would be next year. So it would probably be pick 25.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing that in a heartbeat. Do you think that is reasonable for Utah? I feel like you'd have to throw Kosa in there too feel like that's a lot for just Larkin.
I think that is reasonable for Utah. The only reason why these trades can get so big with Utah is if you put Kosa in there. Because if you put Kosa in here, now we're talking, instead of that first-round pick, we're talking about another like true asset that they picked in the top end of the draft, or we're talking about some of these guys in the midsection who, for me, the guy who I really want is Shemiev. I think like adding another big mean defenseman to Sider and Edmondson is exactly what we need. Like, we need one more of those guys. Yes, we need the puck moving. Like, that is important. And that's a situation I would also be looking to find something to plug in there. However, the big defensive, the snarl, like, that's what we need. And like Shemiev, with adding Kosa in here, can get that done instead of that first-round pick. That's a perfect trade in my mind. You get two, middle six, like, floor guys in Barrett Hayton and Tisha Ginla, and then you would get a top 4 projected defenseman for the future as well. Like, that is a package that really entices me personally.
Yeah. I mean, that, like I said, that's why we've talked about the Mammoth so much, is because they have enough to give you that would make sense. They have the forward, like, even without Logan Cooley, the amount of depth that they have in forwards, scoring, shoot, like, not like TJ Ginla's not like a Lucas Raymond star forward. He's going to be a sniper, scorer, starring forward, and that's what you need more of. You need more goal scorers in your roster and in your depth, because even, like I said, I'm so sick of these guys coming up and just not shooting the puck and not attacking the net. So you need some guys that are going to do that, and obviously TJ Ginla fits that role. And like you said, fucking let him compete for the top 6 next year. Why not? Like, you're going to be basically throwing the season away anyways for a little bit. So yeah, if you can get that kind of package out of Utah, I would do it in a heartbeat.
1,000%, I agree. I mean, we talked about it last show on Thursday, and I think just a no-brainer for us. I mean, you're going in a trend to go younger, faster, and like, that's what Tej brings. And I don't know, Barrett Hayden's also, he's not bad for middle line guy, so I wouldn't. And also, I'm just ready to just be done with this Larkin stuff. Like, I just don't want him on my team anymore. I just don't. I don't ever want to see that winged wheel on his jersey ever again.
Man,
But again, it's got to be for the right thing, and I think this is the right trade, for 1,000% the right trade. So
we got a couple chat submissions here on some trades that the chat likes, so we're gonna get to those real quick. We have Icewater Olson. It was Denoyers, Shemiev, McBain, and a first for Larkin and Kosa. That's definitely appealing. I don't love McBain, but I don't think that's going to be, or Denoyers. I think there's better. I'd rather have Hatton, I think, and I'd rather have Tisha Ginla. So that one is where I'm not liking the puzzle pieces fitting, but that I would not be mad if that was the return. I'll say it like that.
I do we've talked about. I like Ginla more because he's got more of the star potential. I think that one is more of the safe trade, hoping that Bear or Plant turns into the star, because I don't know if Denoy's going to be, a star.
Yes, he seems like he's going to be a Dylan Larkin adjacent.
Yeah.
Like, that is his ceiling. His ceiling is Dylan Larkin adjacent, and I want to swing for something higher than Dylan Larkin. So, the Blue Marauder 92 with the Utah logo. So, shout out if you're coming in here from Utah. I'd like to see Kosa and Larkin in Utah, but what does Utah send back? I think the most realistic trade for a Kosa Larkin would be Tisha Ginla, Hatton, and Shemiev. Those 3 for those 2. I think that is the most realistic trade to have an even negotiation on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Maybe some picks in there as well, but if you're giving both of those guys up, and Utah really wants Kosa, which is a strange situation because we felt like it would have, his kind of look across the league would have been diminished a little bit now that he's like, it's move it or lose it time for him, and he still hasn't even started a game in the NHL, but they really want him. So that helps. Like, you're not going to find a lot of teams throughout the league that are going to be like, we also, like, everybody wants Dylan Larkin. There's not going to be a lot of teams that are like, we also really want Sebastian Kosa. So maybe Stevie can work his magic and get a little fleecy with the Mammoth.
I'm surprised teams are so interested in Kosa. Like, I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, and Stevie literally flat out came out and said that he's just not ready for the NHL. I don't know why a GM would ever say that, because I think that just like ruins his.
He's playing chess, not checkers. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, Garrett. Well, don't you know about Steve Yzerman by now?
I mean, yeah, you still don't say that about a prospect goalie who you are now trading.
No,
not the greatest look.
I do agree with you, no doubt. So let's keep going off of Utah. I think that we have firmly established that is the ideal trade partner. I think that they can offer you the most flexible package plus the best packages. So it seems like there is a lot of room to negotiate between the two sides to find that even ground, which to me makes it the glaring best package, and where if Dylan Larkin's willing to go there with Clayton Keller, it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and I think he would. I think like obviously the three team list is ridiculous. A 3-team trade list is kind of crazy. That's why I think it got leaked, because Stevie was like, all right, like what, 3 teams? Come on, buddy. So I could see Utah being one of the teams that expands the search because, like you said, because of the Clayton Keller connection, because it is American team, because they were in the playoffs last year. And I don't think Larkin is, much of a I got to be in a big city type of guy either. So I don't think going to Utah would be too big of a problem for him. I could definitely, it just makes so much sense. Like I said, they've got the assets. You've got two guys that they want that you have to move both of them. So it's kind of like it's just the stars are aligning. It's just on Larkin if he wants to go soak in Utah for a little bit. I mean, he can have Clayton Keller shake for him. Who knows? It'll work out.
All right, so moving on to Anaheim, as Anaheim is a team who has been right in the middle of these talks, and the name that has been thrown out there is Mason McTavish. And my question to you is not about the full package, because we know that the full package is going to be something like McTavish, a center prospect, D that can play now, and maybe a pick. Like that's.
Remember when we wanted to trade for McTavish to bring him in here with Larkin? Those were good times.
Yeah, those were good times, Fenny. So, is McTavish to you just a piece of is a big piece of the trade, a cornerstone of the trade, or is he more of like that third thing where you're like, oh, like you also need someone that can help your team now? That's not really a swing. We kind of know what he is at this point in his career. However, he could be a 2C on a championship level on a playoff team.
I think that's what McTavish is. I think like I'm not in love with Mason McTavish as the crown jewel of a trade for Larkin. I think it's kind of a downgrade from Larkin. I don't know if he will ever be what Larkin is. So I mean he's pretty close, but I think he caps out as a Larkin plus. So I would like to have any type of trade centered around a better prospect and a guy that you expect to be better than Mason McTavish if you're going with Anaheim.
1,000%. Yeah, I do think he'd be better on a fresh start. I don't know what happened with him in Anaheim this year. Like, just didn't align this year. But I do think he's a good enough player. I just think we just need a good prospect now. I don't know if you're going to cover it or not, but someone did throw in there Roger McQueen, and I mean, okay, then now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
But I wouldn't mind McTavish. This St. Vengeance is really, really pushing for no McTavish, but he looked good at times, especially last couple of years. I'd say this year he had a down year, but who knows? He just might need a fresh start. Look at Trevor Zegras. He did the same exact thing in Anaheim. He had a terrible year, got traded to Philly, and now he's doing pretty good. So you just never know.
Now, if you're adding a 6'5", 19-year-old center, Roger McQueen, then we can talk, Anthony. How you doing, buddy? That would be
for sure.
Yeah, to me, that's the piece. Like that is like what you could sell me on as a GM is the 6'5" center. He brings a different type of style that this Red Wings team hasn't had. And then, McTavish is here. You don't want Andrew Copp.
Yeah, you want Nate Danielson back? Like we'll give you Larkin and we'll give you Nate Danielson.
Yeah. So I do think Mason McTavish would have to be in there to replenish the center room from the Ducks. However, I need more. Like he's the third piece. I need a D because they have a couple young D I like, and then McQueen is who I want. I want to get a 95 Lightning McQueen jersey, essentially, Red Wings jersey. Like that'd be sick.
That would be pretty sweet.
I like his tape as well. The big physical
6'5" forward, like yes.
Center, 6'5" center.
Yeah.
Like that's the
I'm just saying, I've been asking for a fucking big forward for 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, then you traded Soderblom.
Yeah.
Then you traded Soderblom. That was your big.
Yeah, that somebody said that on our last live that like since they didn't make the playoffs and now that Larkin is like requesting a trade, it would have been nice to have Elmer around for another year or two to see if he can do anything. Why not?
Yeah,
exactly. He did do pretty good in Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Well, let's take a stop away from Larkin real quick because there was some news today that came out, or a report that came out today about Owen Power and the fact that Buffalo might be using him to replace Alex Tuch on the wing because they don't appear like they're going to re-sign Alex Tuch for $12 million, so they're looking for other options. Could I interest you in 40-goal scorer Alex DeBrincat? Now here's the conversation. Is it like teams who are going to want DeBrincat, and it seems like Buffalo would be the perfect type of trade to then fill another need that you do have, which is filling out your top four. And I will say Owen Power is not complete yet, but he made a lot of strides in the playoffs. He was really impressing me, and especially in the Montreal series. I didn't expect him to play as well as he did. He played a bigger role for them, and I personally I don't know what the exact package is, but just the idea of trading Alex DeBrincat and getting a talent with the upside that Owen Power has, like that to me is very intriguing. Or they were also someone in the chat.
You said they were talking about putting Owen Power on the wing.
No, playing D.
Oh yeah, I was about.
I
thought you said wing. I was like, what the fuck?
No, I said Buffalo's looking for a wing. Which okay, yeah. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I do like Owen Power. It's hard not to like the upside of what he could be in this league. He's big. He showed his offensive upside flashes. I think DeBrincat will get the most value if you're moving him at the deadline because, like, right now, you got the 1 year left. Is a first half of DeBrincat going to entice a team more than needing that push at the playoffs at the deadline? I think that's where you'll get the biggest return for him. So if you're moving him to Buffalo for Owen Power or something like that, sure, but I would wait until the deadline because I think you can really start, a bidding war because who wouldn't want a 40-goal scoring Alex DeBrincat to help them make a push to the playoffs? Every single contender, every team in the East that's going to be fighting for those spots. We know the East is going to be even better next year with Florida, and New York's going to be better, and like there are going to be more teams fighting for those last wild card spots. So you'll be able to get a bidding war if you're actually moving on from Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah, if you do the DeBrincat for an Owen Power, I would like to see them add like Josh Norris or a Jack Quinn. I don't know. I mean, I would say Zach Benson, but I think he played himself into a non-tradable right now in the playoffs. But maybe they would trade a Jack Quinn for Alex DeBrincat and Owen Power. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would just like to see to get one of their younger forwards that looks pretty good in the playoffs if we're giving them a forward as well.
And like eventually there's going to be a point where Dylan Larkin's conversation shifts to Buffalo because it feels like it is not going to be possible for Steve Yzerman to not look at some of these divisional opponents that we have. And I know obviously Montreal is currently still off the board because Canada isn't in Dylan Larkin's plans. But Buffalo is in the U.S. and like you said, like Jack Quinn, like that's a guy who in the Dylan Larkin's trade, like that'd be a guy who I would be extremely interested in. Like they have the pieces to make it work. So when we get into the more Buffalo-centric trades, I think that that's another team that will line up very well with us, a lot like Utah.
I think, yeah, if what I've heard about all of these trades so far, like the defenseman or solidifying your top three with the young defense, and then hopefully ASP could round out the top four would be great. But like Roger McQueen and Tisha Ginla are the two pieces that I'm stuck on. That if I'm moving Dylan Larkin, I need a guy like that to slide right in to your prospect growth pool, to when he's truly, or when one of them is truly ready to be, whether it's a 1C or for Tej, I don't know if he's actually going to play center in the NHL, but when they're ready for that top six, then you'll have adult Lucas Raymond and hopefully Carter Bear with them, and you have an elite first line or something like that. So I want an elite potential 19-year-old for Dylan Larkin. I do, a forward or a center preferably, but I can't do it for a defenseman. I definitely can't do it for a fucking goaltender. So
absolutely, and I feel that, and I think that that's why, like Buffalo is going to be in the mix later in there, and I'm not as stuck as you. I am on the forward on mindset of it, like especially because like we need a center. Like I cannot deal with looking at Andrew Copp playing center. I'm the one on the first line, but that's why
he's going to though.
Teams like Boston, who's got Hagans, like that's a team where, James Hagans, like, and Boston's GM has a reputation of not wanting to rebuild. They are constantly aggressive, trying to continue winning. Do they want to wait 2 years for James Hagans to actually grow into being a top six forward? Maybe not. Maybe they'd rather have, 5 years of Larkin playing center, either with Pasta or holding down that second line. So that's where Boston, to me, is another sneaky team that could get into the mix later in this process if the first couple situations don't end up working out.
Yeah, I mean, but again, that's got to be an all-in move for Boston if they think they're good enough to go for it, which again, how crazy things can happen in the East, especially what we saw last year. I don't know if Boston has enough to do it either. Like, I'm not trading for a 30-year-old center. I'm not, that's not going to be part of the package I want in return. And I don't know. They do have McAvoy, so I think that obviously it's the Boston Bruins too. So it's a team that I'm sure Dylan Larkin would be willing to get traded to go play with Pasta and McAvoy. But I don't know. It's a weird situation, man. It really is. Because it all, like, the package can be great, the prospects can be there, Steve Yzerman can do it, and at the end of the day, Larkin can just say, no, I'm not going, and you're fucked.
Yeah. For the Boston side of things, if you're going James Hagans, I just saw a report, I think a couple of days ago, that they were thinking about trading Mason Lowry, and I think that's another guy you could just throw in there to get us another defenseman in our top four, because I really like the way he plays. So
I feel like you would have to get Hagans in any kind of deal with
Boston.
Boston's non-negotiable as Hagans. Like they're not like other teams where they have this plethora of prospects that they can lean on to make this deal in a bunch of different ways. Like that is the one way. Like there's one way that they get this trade done, and it is by trading James Hagans, and the rest, and also the thing with Boston for me, and then this is a little nerdy, but Boston is on an unsustainable pace right now. Like they're whistling by the graveyard with these signings. They finally got it right with like the veteran signings, like for the first time this offseason, and then they shot up to 100 points after really struggling the year before. Maybe this is you trade for something, a pick that's 2 years down the line, and that ends up being a lottery pick because they end up bottoming out one of these next couple of years. But this is like way down in the process. This is already if you're struggling to get Utah and Anaheim and then San Jose, who we'll talk about in a second, to really commit to getting Dylan Larkin, because this is like a last case scenario. I don't even know if they have enough in regards to Buffalo in this conversation.
Yeah, and we see there Eric T. Lamas is Bruins fans here. You're not getting Higgins. You can maybe get Lutruno. Then
All right, conversation over.
Yeah, then you're not getting Larkin. Like, I mean, it's that's the only prospect you guys have that we would really want in a trade for Dylan Larkin that we would really want.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the last team other than Utah and Anaheim that like truly have intriguing prospects, and they have been reported in the mix currently, is the San Jose Sharks. And we talked about it a little bit. To me, we're now getting to the point of non-negotiables. Like, teams have to have non-negotiable prospects that we desire. And two guys, William Eklund, he was picked in the first round a couple years ago. He played in the NHL this year. He's a winger. He's not a center, but he put up 58 points or 56 points in 70-something games. Really good numbers. He played in their second line. Him and Misa were really playing together and hitting their stride together at the end of the year, which is why they may not want to lose him. But it's him or it's Misa. It's one of the two. It's got to be one of these younger guys who are already putting up around a half point per game, maybe a little higher, and can grow into a guy who is at least a point per game in the NHL.
Yeah, I mean, Eklund's got 3 years in the league now where he's been at like a half point a game, so that is definitely a good sign to go forward. But for me, it would
not
be
really playing with elite talent either.
Yeah, and it's not like he's playing with Celebrini, but I would for me it would be Misa or two. That would be my like I need that number 2 overall pick, or I need Michael Misa.
And
we can spice it up a little. Like it's probably going to take more than just Dylan Larkin to do that. We can add some stuff. You want Justin Falk too? He can help you on the blue line for this run that you're trying to make. Blah blah blah. But yeah, those are the 2 pieces I'm looking at, because Eklund is nice, but we don't need any more wingers, man. And I don't know. Can you see Eklund being a top line guy, like a top line wing? I can't trade Dylan Larkin for a wing that I don't see being a fucking 100-point guy in the future.
I don't see him being a 100-point guy. I could see him being a 75, 80-point guy. And that's not the most appealing option. I'm not going to lie. Like, I would rather have Misa, because at least if he's an 80-point guy, he can play center.
He's playing center, yeah.
Like that's a big difference for me. And I'm operating under the assumption that the number 2 overall pick is not for sale. I really question them, and if they are willing to move to, I feel like they would want to move back a couple spots, get draft capital, and then pick one of the defensemen, because the defensemen are really good too. Like, this is a really top-heavy draft. There are like 6 really premier prospects in this draft. You got McKenna, Steinberg, and then there's 4D that are really, really good. And I don't think that with where San Jose is right now, I could understand, like, you see what, and that's why, San Jose might not end up working out, because San Jose, unlike Anaheim, needs more young pieces. Like, they are still trying to build out their base. Their base is not complete. It's not like Anaheim, where they already have McTavish playing on the third line. McQueen isn't even in the NHL yet. Like, Misa and Uklin are playing on their second line. Like, it's just a different mentality for them, which is why it's going to be harder to deal with San Jose. Yeah.
I think that Eklund and Misa will both be the same level of player. I believe at the very lowest, they'll be a plus second line guy, which they almost already are now. So if you're doing that, you got to get the center, in my mind, because we don't need any more second line wings.
100%. And I don't like you said, like, if you want the second overall pick, I mean, there's no really center available at that time. You have 4D and you have Steinberg, who also is going to be a good winger. Like, I think he's going to be really good in the NHL, but again, he's a winger, and we don't need wingers. So I'd like to see Misa, but I don't know. Utah just sounds so nice. I don't really care about any other team.
Yeah. Honestly, you're not wrong.
You're not.
But that's like Steinberg. I think he's going to be, he's the potential to be a 100-point guy. So if I can see the wing being a 100-point guy, fuck yeah, I'll take him. I'll figure out center in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
It's equating positional value versus elite talent.
Yeah.
And the elite talent, when it's here, overweighs the positional value. Like, that's just how it is. Because yes, you need centers, and you need centers who can be point per game guys, but you also need wingers who can be 100-point guys. Larkin plus 10 for Sean picks for Rooney. I mean,
100%.
honestly, I would do it.
For sure.
Yeah, celebrating is nasty.
Wouldn't even think twice. All right, fellas. So the only other, like, truly, to me, the only other option, and, we've hit all the mock trades, we'd hit all that, but, the only way I would go outside of Utah or Anaheim, but Anaheim is a clear second place, is Montreal. And obviously Larkin has to be okay trading him there. But
Michael Hague,
if he is, the hauls are ridiculous. Like, I was talking about it with Sean, and Sean is like, oh, you could have Hagee, you could have Zerkowski from Decay, like all these guys who have 100-point potential. And he's just like, yeah, here, just take them. Because he knows that they're one move away, truly are a center away from competing for the Stanley Cup. So that's and Spenny's talked about it with the Brinket. And it could be the same thing for Dylan Larkin. If he needs Dylan Larkin to expand his trade list, and like if Utah doesn't work out and Anaheim doesn't work out, the only options are these teams that have just middle six forwards that they can offer. Those are just not going to get it done. That's where, it's going to start being hardball. Dylan, how bad do you want to get out of Detroit? Do you want to get out bad enough where you want to go to Canada? And you have to make him say no, because if those teams are saying no because they don't feel like they're ready to make that move, the teams that are ready to make those moves that have pieces are Buffalo and Montreal, and they're going to have to take advantage of those teams and be willing to trade him in division because they are not on the current timeline of the Red Wings.
And, I mean, Mid-Made says if Magalar's not going to Canada, it's like he's joking, but he's not joking. Like, it's probably, which is crazy because, like, Montreal is in such a good situation. They've got, it's not like they don't have American guys there. Like, he's got some of his boys that
he's boys with Cole Caulfield.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield and Lane Hudson. Like, go play with the boys. But he's not going to Montreal, which is crazy because listen, I hate Canada as much as the next guy. If I'm Dylan Larkin, I would for sure go to Montreal. You'd be in the Cup final in a year and a half. Like, they've been there recently. And they've got such a deep war chest that Montreal or Utah could give us a bounty for Dylan Larkin. And Montreal would be willing to do it more because, like you said, they are truly a 2C away from being in a Cup final. So we'll see. But there's no way he's going to Canada, man.
Yeah.
No, I joke about hating Canada. Canada's a fine country. But we own you. Remember that. Double gold.
We own
triple gold.
Yeah, and stay tapped in. PWHL, Hillary Knight, the captain of Team USA. I'm sure she'll be the captain of Detroit PWHL, so that'll be pretty hype as well. But make sure for this last 10 minutes you get your mailbag questions in. We'll answer them, and you gotta show you some love in the chat. We appreciate you for showing out. Numbers have been huge. You guys have really been, you guys are sickos. You guys love the Wings. We love the Wings. So smash that
what do you think about Montreal
Saturday content.
What do you say, Spenny?
What do you think about the Montreal situation?
Yeah, no, I think that was like my first take I ever brought up after this was New Huck and Hague for Larkin. But I mean, I don't know why. It's not like Quebec's that bad. Like, I could see like going to Alberta, like that sucks. Like, nothing's in Alberta, like whatever. But like Quebec, or like, I don't know. Maybe Lane Hudson and Caulfield will convince. I know they skate out of USA in the summer, so maybe they'll talk them up. Be like, hey, dude, come on, we really need you. We'll, like you said, they're gonna win the Cup, and they might have won it this year if they didn't run into 2 hard Game 7s in the first 2 rounds. Like, who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why not to go there. Like, if they weren't close to winning, I could see why. Like, I don't want to live out of my country and it's Canada, this and that. But they are so close. You can get, like, you're going to be there in two years, maybe next year.
Out of all these teams that we've mentioned, they're the one that's like truly a Dylan Larkin away from actually being in a Stanley Cup final. And like I say, Sean and DMAC have told me a lot about Quebec and the French girls and the situations going on there. So like, it doesn't sound like a bad place by any means.
I got friends there. One of my teammates lives in Quebec and he loves it. Like they just get obliterated and they have hot women. I don't know how this guy just said New Hook's bad. He was their best player in the playoffs. I don't know.
He looked really good in the playoffs.
And he's what, 22, 23 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Montreal, like for me, if I was Dylan Larkin, and I get Florida and all of them, but you're gonna go play with younger guys, you're gonna go play, whatever, it's Canada, but again, you're gonna dominate for years to come. Like
they're so good. Young. They're so good.
And honestly, he has to become royalty in his city again. Like honestly, like his name is X'd out
smirched
in Detroit. He has ruined not a great legacy, but a legacy of being a captain in your hometown in the NHL. And that is weight. Like now when he comes back here, it's not like Sergei Fedorov where everyone is like misses him and other people who have left on good terms. Like he left in one of the worst ways a Red Wing has left in franchise history. And if he goes to a team like Montreal and brings them a Stanley Cup, he may fucking live there the rest of his life. Because you know what? He's going to be treated like royalty there versus here. He'll never be treated like that again. He ruined that aspect of his life, unfortunately.
Honestly, I never even thought about that. Like, dude, you move to Montreal, you win a cup in the next 2 years. The first time Canada's won a cup in how long? The country's going to love you even though you're American. Like, you're the reason why they won it. If you win a cup
in Toronto or Montreal, people would be getting Dylan Larkin tattoos. Like,
seriously.
100%.
Sean would.
Sean would
literally do it.
Yeah,
you're right. Like never mind. I don't know why I just started eating when I was going to talk, but these grapes are really good. Jesse, you're 100% right. He's got to go somewhere else to kind of get his, the golden boy, Dylan Larkin. He got us, we rooted for him, the Team USA stuff. I did. I remember getting a lot of, people talking shit to me when I said, maybe Larks don't celebrate every little goal like it's Game 7 of the fucking Cup final. He gets a little excited.
I can't lie, Spenny. I was looking at, when I was looking at pictures, making graphics and thumbnails and stuff, the amount of times, one every time.
Every single time. Yeah. I love it. I don't love him now. Now he's dead to me. But I love Larkin. He was very, but every goal can't be a game winner,
No.
Dylan Larkin scores a huge goal to cut the lead from 6-2. It's but
oh my god! All right. Also,
I think if he truly doesn't even consider Montreal or won't even consider allowing Steve Yzerman to negotiate with Montreal for a trade, he doesn't care about winning a cup because it would just make the most sense. If he's that steadfast of no, it has to be an American team that he won't even consider Montreal. All right, man. You just want to go play with your friends and have fun. You don't actually want to win a cup. He definitely doesn't give a shit about the Red Wings.
Easy way. He wants to win the cup the easy way, Spenny. Come on, look at
that. I feel like Montreal would be pretty fucking easy. They got so much talent.
Apparently, he doesn't think so.
He doesn't have to be the one. You got Nick Suzuki. You got 2 40-goal scorers ahead of you. You could just be happy the whole time.
All the way to the cup, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Wingnut in the chat. Appreciate you tapping in. He got us a trade here. Larkin plus Kosa, Anaheim for McTavish plus 2027 first, a pick / mid prospect, no force forward. Anaheim's tradable wings duplicate your roster, or Pedersen to Detroit with no retention. I don't think there's no way that Vancouver wants Larkin. And the only way that you get Pettersson is in a 3-team trade, where you get Pettersson, you give Larkin to a contender. Like, this is
That's where Minnesota comes in.
Yeah,
I thought they would want Wallstead.
Minnesota sends Wallstead and everyone else to Vancouver. You get Pettersson at full retain, and then you give up Larkin because the no retain is like equal value to Larkin, in my opinion, my personal opinion. I think that's. I don't think that's enough for the Anaheim trade though, Wingna. I feel like we talked about it earlier, so go back and tap into that. But I think that like McTavish can't be the cornerstone of the.
Unfortunately, Bearded Beanie is also right. It's looking like he's kind of washed.
Yes, he is. I personally would not trade for Pettersson.
And again, that would be the like, can the spirit of Hockey Town revive him to being a 100-point guy again? Like that, no. I as much as I like the idea of that and the Disney, spin to it and all that stuff, but like. No, you can't go after a guy that you're looking, because then you're just in the same spot you are when you had Dylan Larkin circling mediocrity in the bottom of the Eastern Conference, when you should be trying to bring in a young piece that can just ignite the solid young core you already have to being an actual legitimate Stanley Cup playoff team in a year or 2 years or something like that.
And Whiskey and Wings with some great context here. Peterson also has arthritis in his knees. I don't understand the infatuation with people wanting him. There's a reason why his points has been cut in half when he was a former 100-point talent. And you can see it when he plays. Like you can see how much less dynamic he is today than he was back in his 100-point season. Like when he put up his 100-point season, my roommate was a Vancouver Canucks fan in college. I watched plenty of Vancouver Canucks games, and he was a very good player. Did you say I'm sorry?
Yeah.
No,
you guys are watching Vancouver and Red Wings games all the time? Oof, man.
No, that was when they were good. They made they went back-to-back years when they were in the playoffs when he was my roommate. The Wings, however.
Oh, there you go.
Was it Ricky?
Yeah, it was Ricky.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he ever started liking the Vancouver Canucks. Like, that's just the most random thing of all time.
Random ass team.
Yeah, I mean, you like the Sedins, man. I mean, what can I say?
That's fair. Shout out the Sedins. It's hard to hate the Sedins.
And he's stuck to him, man. And like at least he's stuck there. Like, he's not wavering at all in this current time of trauma. Like, he just watched his favorite player of all time get traded, and he's still riding strong, man. So, shout out Ricky, man. Shout out Ricky. I respect the grind of being committed to a team that looks like they have almost no future.
Yeah, I wonder where we get that from.
Well, I mean, we're living it,
brother.
To join them. So, Mantha, Bertuzzi, Perron, all the toughness were Larkin. I hope you're not saying that Larkin is tough. I think what you're saying is that they traded away all of the toughness away when
I'm not calling Anthony Mantha tough. I think that's what he's saying is you traded away all the toughness, but if Mantha, Bertuzzi, and Perron are the toughness you're relying on, you don't have any toughness. Bertuzzi maybe, but Mantha's not a tough guy. Perron's a vet and he's spicy and but you don't want Perron to be your tough guy either.
No. Can we talk
I think we're going to next year. It's obviously going to be ugly unless God forbid we get the first or second pick out of this Larkin deal, but it's going to be ugly next year. But I think we're going to see, and I know we can't, I don't want to sell this as hope, but a much grittier team led by Mo Seider in the back end and a guy like MBN and Marco Kasper in the front end. Like, I know everybody hates on Marco Kasper, rightfully so. He had a terrible year in terms of point production. He led the team in hits, and
I'm dying on a bounce back season on Marco Kasper.
I think so too.
On that hill.
I think so too. I could see. He's got to be up over 20 goals at least. And
is that the defining him for a bounce back season? Though I'd say a bounce back season for him is over 15.
I'm saying 20. I'm saying 20 at least.
I'm gonna predict 20 because I think he can get 20, but I'm not gonna. I don't think it's like if he gets 17 after, like if he even matches his rookie year total and then adds some assists, like I want his point total to be up. If he puts up 17 or so goals and puts up more points, like I'd be so happy with that season from our.
I also need to see where he's going to be and who's on his line, because if he's the first line center, which. I mean, who's to say he can't beat out Andrew Kopp for the 1C spot?
I think they'd rather have him there than Kopp.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'd really touch that Kopp line, but I mean, if you put Casper with like DeBrincat and Raymond, like who knows? Like
I'd be hoping for 50 points.
He played a lot better when he was with Larkin. Like
for sure,
he's not like he's playing. He's playing with better people, but that's what you need when you're young. You can't just get thrown into the mix with. When they had Soderblom and Finney together, like that's just throwing all the young kids together against, and they have your third line at one time. That doesn't work like that.
Unfortunately, it was my boy was going through hell last year. Like I am a Marco Casper believer as my dog. Yeah. Some of the line combinations that he was seeing, he was playing with JVR and fucking Mason Appleton in a game. Exactly. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, give the kid a chance.
Yeah, you can't help it. You can't help.
Can we all agree that Appleton can't be in this lineup next year?
Spartan dog, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just he didn't even play on the PK. Like that's what they sold him as, was being a PK guy who can be gritty and block shots and play defense, and he just was not any of that.
Real ones remember when he led this team in goals. I think it was like the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
He was nasty when he got hurt. When he got hurt, it was downhill from there. It was pretty fucked up.
If Montreal was a last one, and then we'll wrap this thing up, and this is a good one to add on. If Montreal was about to trade a massive package for Nyes, why try to use Cat to? I think it's why not try to use Cat to get some of their center/forward prospects, and then we can go BPA for the Larkin trade.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great to me. That's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of deals, but you're going to have to make, unless you do some kind of big package with a couple of these, you're going to have to make 2 or 3 trades, this season.
You're going to have to get creative.
Yeah. Because you got to get Falk and Gibson out of there for sure. Those will be deadline moves. I think we've talked about Andrew Kopp could be a pretty enticing piece to a team at a deadline to be a 3 or 4C for a playoff push. And
it would cost nothing.
Yeah, and you've got the cap space to eat a couple of these contracts to get the highest return available. So we'll see. I think they're going to make some moves at the deadline and see you later, Garrett. Damn, all right, bro. We'll see. We'll see. I think next year you're going to see, outside of the Larkin trade, 2 or 3 more trades for the Red Wings, and Tree says it, Vet's out. Oh, shit. Shout out. Happy 2002 Stanley Cup Game 5 anniversary, Steve. Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. That's what I like to see. See, good vibes. Ending it on good vibes. Remember when we were actually a competent franchise that won Stanley Cups? I know you guys don't. I do. Let's fucking go.
I remember when I was 6.
At the parade, though. I do remember that.
When I was 6, one of my first hockey memories was them winning the cup. I wasn't, I was just starting hockey at that point. So, but thank you guys for tapping in. This has been Woodward Wings. You guys showed out again. You guys are the sickest, best fans in the world. So make sure you keep bringing it, and we'll keep bringing you the content. This has been Woodward Wings. Smash that like button. Sub to the channel. We will catch you on Tuesday, 4:15 live. It will be us talking more Detroit Red Wings.
I'm going to see if Sean wants to come on Tuesday or Thursday or sometime next week. We're going to try to get Sean as the next guest we have on. I know a lot of people in the comments were saying they love Sean, and how obviously he knows fucking more about hockey than anybody in this state that talks into a mic. So excited to have Sean. Hopefully Sean on next week.
We will play Be a GM with Sean, where Sean will be the opposing GM, as me and Spenny act as Steve Yzerman, and we will try to have live negotiations with Dylan Larkin, because that always creates some good debate and arguments, and we will have that for you on Tuesday or Thursday of next week. So stay tapped in. For Wings, I'm Justin Satawa. That's Spencer Raxter. Garrett, give us one for the people, and we'll catch you in the next one. We'll see you later. Peace.